Neck-throughs, guitars, they're like a guy that you won't have a beer with you.
I want to hear what's pushing the notes.
Freddie King and B.B. King, Albert King, and let's not forget Burger King.
I don't want to blow my knuckle out.
Stainless steel is the work of the devil.
These go to 11.
From the East Amplification Tone Labs in Baltimore, Maryland, it's the Amps and Axes Show with your hosts, Jeff the Godfather of Low Wattage Amps Bober and Mick Marcelino.
Good day to you, Mr. Bober.
Let me catch my breath and it'll be a good day. Good day to you, Mr. Marcelino.
Oh my God.
Killing me, son. You're
I finally got him.
You did. Yeah, and damn right this show goes to 11.
Yes, it does.
This one went so far to 11 that we had to split it in two.
Yes, and this is one where you want all the children out of the room. But it's all good.
It is all good. It's organic and au naturel.
Yes, and we before we get started though, we have to do the thank yous. We have to thank everybody. Please follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and please go out to iTunes and give us some ratings, man. That's how we get this thing going, and we can generate it. And questions, send us your questions.
Yeah, there's got to be something out there that we don't know the answer to.
Go to ampsandaccesscast.com. You can go to our comments page. You can send us whatever you want. You can make comments on the shows, in the episodes and archives.
True.
And, of course, you can get a hold of us at ampaxcast@gmail.com.
Exactly.
I always screw that up.
I'll have to write it down so I remember it. But yes, now that you know, just go there and, say hey.
So
let us know.
This interview last week ran a little bit long.
Yeah,
an entire hour. So we love Jimmy, and I tell you what, I'm a huge fan. The guy is an amazing player, and I just like I said last week, I love his honesty.
Last week was more the history and influences of Jimi Hazel of 24/7 Spyz, and this week, we'll get more into the amps and axes,
the gear
aspect of it, the gear of
side,
it, and it's we'll see what he uses to make the sounds that he makes. So, without further ado, here is part 2. But at some point, I really, just because our show is called Amps and Axes, I got to get into a little bit of the gear, because your sound was great, and I want to know what you did use, what you still use. What's Jimmy using now? What's in the horizon? For you guys. I mean, we need to get a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah.
Gear for the longest. The funny thing is, in the beginning, by the time we got a deal, which was great, our label also had friends over at Korg. So the first thing they do is like, you guys need gear. Mm-hmm. What do you want to play? And I was like, I want Marshalls.
Yeah.
Over the Korg we go, and I meet Mitch Colby, and it's like, okay, cool. So I became a Marshall endorser. So
that's right. Korg was part of them. Yes.
Yeah. So I got a 900, and I used that for the better part of 89, and then somewhere midway through, I went back to the factory, and they had just come out with their first transistor head. It was called the 3315.
Wow.
And this amp was absolutely bananas. 150 watts, just headroom for days. The evilest dirty tone. Actually, the dime bag tone was what was already sitting in the 3315 at that point. But the funny thing is that nobody wanted to hear transistor and Marshall in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So that amp died. I mean, it was gone before it even happened. It came out. People were like, snobs were like, "Are you kidding me? Ha! Transistors, you insult me."
Yeah.
I used that amp. By the time we got to the second album, I'd gotten a hold of an 88 MP1 preamp, and I was running it through my Marshall. So it was just really obnoxiously huge. Like distortion on top of distortion, but I kind of figured out a way to make it work. So by the time we got the second album, that's the real heavy record. The second album is the heaviest. I don't think I'd ever heard a record be that heavy at that point from anybody else.
Yeah, it was
so that was MP1 into the Marshall solid state.
Yeah.
That was the MP1 into the Marshall. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, at least you preempted it with tubes.
Yeah, for real. But it was just bananas. So by the time we went on tour, I stopped using the Marshalls and got a full 88 rig. And I really want to say I got lucky because I have one of the magic ones. I'd hear other people, everybody was using rack gear. Everybody started to shift over to the racks and whatnot. And that was cool, but I had like the most basic of racks. I had a power amp, two preamps just out of backup, a BBE sonic maximizer, an 88.2 effects, and a Furman. And other than that, on the floor, there was three things I would never be without. I'd never be without a great wah-wah pedal. I'd never be without an octaver, and I'd never be without a noise gate.
Wow.
And that was it.
That's cool.
Those BBE sonic maximizers were...
They were ubiquitous. They were everywhere.
They were the craziest things out there.
The funniest thing was that I was amazed at how many people didn't know what they could do with them.
What it was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, and I at first I would run the MP1 through the power amp, and I didn't have the BBE. And you can tweak your mids and your highs as much as you can within the preamp, but you thought it sounded great.
You added the sonic maximizer on, man. It was
sonic maximizer was like somebody took a blanket off of my shit. It was like,
that's exactly what I always used to describe it like. I had one with noise reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
And you didn't have to even turn the knobs. You just kind of left them at midway, right? And there's no digital. There's nothing digital in there. It uses inductors and capacitors to kind of delay the signal to each other, I guess.
They do some time shifting or something.
Yeah, just enough with the EQ so that full range guitar speaker can actually produce those sounds.
Night and day.
Without trying to do it all at once.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah, it takes the mud.
Separates it a little bit.
Yeah, it takes the mud right out of it. It was the weirdest thing.
It really was, because I would go, hold up, let me go in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you had to do, man.
Wow.
You'd hit that button, and people would be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Every night, without fail, there would be guys in the club going, you got the sickest sounding rig. I'm like, you think so? And I quickly started to find out because I'd hear the other bands. I'd be like, wow, you got like mosquito tone, or wow. And that was the other thing. I'm an R&B cat. So if R&B is still at the crux of whatever I did, but I like ass glass. I refer to my sound as the ass, tits, and glass tone. I gotta have low end. There's got to be a really warm, fat, tight bottom. Mm-hmm. I like low end.
Nice.
The tits are the really nice center.
That's right. You gotta have beautiful mids, man. You gotta have beautiful mids.
Gotta have beautiful mids, man. And the glass is what sits on top. It's that really nice. That nice sizzle. Mm-hmm. Not enough, it's not coked out where it's like, God, you're hurting my ears. It's just, it's like, ooh, that's a nice steak you got on that pan right there. That kind of thing. So it's the glass.
Oh, my God. That is the best analogy ever.
That's great.
I like my sound like I like my women.
That's right.
Hello. So for years, dudes would be like, you almost have a bass player's rig. I'm like, no, it's a guitar rig. I said, y'all don't you know what makes chicks move? Low end. Plus, I come from that Hendrix mentality. It's like, it's one thing to hear. I want you to feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to feel. And we were loud. Lord have mercy. Were we loud? We're still loud, but we were really loud at that point.
That low end thing with regards to a guitar can be done in the wrong way too. It's there's something about that if you do it, if you put too much of it in and it's not defined enough, or maybe
not the right low. Yeah, you turn to mud. I mean,
it just starts
no
farting.
Definition.
Right.
Yeah.
It must be what the sonic maximizer does.
It really did kind of change a lot. And I kept that rig. I recorded every album with that same rig. So 90, 91, 92, 94, 95, 96.
Wow.
And then 2000, because the last studio record we actually made prior to the last album was 96. And we finally made another album in 2006, and I used the same rig.
That's wild.
Wow.
Then I decided to retire it. I got a call one day, and a friend of mine goes, dude, because everybody was like trying to get my rig. You want to sell that thing? Are you kidding me? Hell to the no. I'm not selling shit.
That's history right there, man. That's history.
I said, you don't get it. I said, I lucked out. This thing will never leave me. I will never part with it, and I still have it. But I got a call one day, and a friend said, yo, what are you doing? I'm sitting here. Why don't you come down to the spot where I'm at? And I was like, why? He goes, there's an amp in here that sounds like your 88 rig. And I was like, an amp? I said, like as in a head? He goes, yeah. I go, bullshit. He goes, no, I shit you not. I said, for real? He goes, just bring your favorite guitar and come down. So I go down, and the amp, it was a Splawn Nitro.
Yeah, I know what this. I've seen it. I've heard this amp.
So I knew about Splawns, and I actually found out about Splawns early on because of Rich Ward, who was with Stock Mojo at that point, because he had all of his amps modified by Scott Splawn. And I was like, your amps, your Marshalls don't sound like Marshalls. They were really tweaked. And I was like, dude, he was like, Scott Splawn. And at that point, all Scott did was modify other people's amps.
Yeah.
But it had gotten so much to the point where at some point some of the amp companies were coming to him to ask him to come on board with them. And he was like, well, why would I go ahead and get in bed with somebody else? Why not just make my own amps? So he starts making his own amps. Well, somebody got a hold of a Nitro, and I came down and I laughed because I plugged into it, and that thing was the closest amp I'd heard that sounded like my old rig. Wow. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding. Okay. And I called him, it was like, hey, man.
Heard one of your amps.
Yeah, it was like the conversation was really quick. He was like, well, do you know what you like? Do you know what you want? I was like, yeah. And he was like, the quick rod? I was like, hell no. I want the Nitro. And I got my first Nitro. Actually, I ordered a rig, and it was sky blue and white, which was even funny because nobody had decided. I don't like black amps. It's a really strange thing. For years it's kind of like black amp, black amp, black amp, black, 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 black. I was like, something. I like things to reflect my personality. I like things that just look like they look. I want them to look. I have a fixation on a '57 Bel Air, and the first time I saw a Bel Air, it was sky blue with white walls, and I mean that thing just looked like heaven.
Wow!
So when I thought about it, I was like, ooh, I would love a sky blue and white rig. So I said, can you do a sky blue and white rig? And he was like, sky blue? He goes, no. I was like,
why not?
Really?
Why not?
Yeah, he was like, no, I don't think so. Nobody, no. And I said, well, let me see if I can find the Tolex. If I find the Tolex, I'll buy the Tolex, and I'll ship it to you guys. So I find what was called North Carolina Blue Tolex. That was literally sky blue. I don't know why it's called North Carolina.
Maybe for the college.
Maybe their sky looks that
I think
color.
I think the school color is
Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina is sky blue.
Oh wow, Panthers.
So I'm like, oh snap! So I ordered a bunch of Tolex.
No, that's.
Send it out, and they're like freaking out because they're just like, "Are you sure you want your amps in your cabinets?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "They look real pimpish, don't they?"
You sure you want your hardcore heavy metal amp sky blue?
Right.
Well, you know something great thing. '89. I was playing pink guitars and wearing pink clothes, playing thrash.
Well, that's because you couldn't buy a guitar that wasn't pink in '89. It was either fluorescent green or pink. I mean, what the hell?
We sought out pink, though.
I was actually looking for a fuchsia Hamer.
Were you?
At that point? Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
I never went that way. I always thought I just can I get a normal color?
I settled for my sky blue PRS.
Yeah,
powder blue.
There you go.
PRS.
I've always had a thing for pink guitars.
Yeah.
Always. So
that's hilarious.
But playing this kind of music, and it was like, wow, how does that dude? Wow, he uses all pink shit. Like at this point, now it's sky blue and white. And all the metal dudes, because now everything in metal is black,
or chrome.
And I said to him, dude, the only thing that's gonna be black on the stage aside from me is the bass player. So I want some sky blue and white amps, man. So he made me 2 cabinets and a head, and when I got them, I mean, they just looked like, wow.
They are
gorgeous.
beautiful. They are beautiful.
Yeah.
So the funny thing was, he posted a picture on the forum, and of course the Beavis and Butthead generation's like, dude, whoa, dude, you touching your manhood?
Meanwhile, they'll knock you on the ground.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I play the heaviest shit you'll ever hear, and my pretty blue and white amps will clip your nuts.
I like that.
I said, dude, it's the wolf in sheep's clothing. I said, you don't understand it because in your world, everything heavy is black.
Yeah.
I said, dude, that's not where I come from. I want to smile at you while I cut your throat. I want to wave at you while I kick you in the nuts. Look at the pretty amps. Oh God, did you hear that tone?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you have matching guitars now, right?
I had one. Actually, Peter Robick had made me a blue and white to match the rig.
I thought so.
Yeah, same thing with the guitars. It was kind of like, everybody goes, so I remember when you were Ernie Ball endorser, I was like, long story, gone, done, left them, been gone. But after them, I went to VJ, stayed there for a minute and found out Patrice VJ didn't have nuts either, and we got gone. And at that point, I was like, I don't even want to be in bed with anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody. I got a whole bunch of guitars. I can play whatever I want. But Peter Robeck, I had known about his guitars, but they were hard to come by in the States. And luckily, a cat named Ed DeGennaro had hit me up, and he was like, he knew Peter, and Peter was like, do you know Jimmy? And he was like, yeah. He goes, I really like to talk to him. I heard about what happened with him and the other 2 companies, and I'd love to have a conversation. And I told Ed, I don't want to talk to anybody who makes a guitar. They're my enemy. But Peter and I wound up having this conversation, and within 15 minutes we understood we were really like-minded. And This wasn't about politics. It wasn't about anything other than great guitars. And Peter made me 3 that will never leave my lineup. And it started from there. And then from there, I got a hold of a Fano, talked to Dennis Fano. He made me something. My favorite is my Gigi, which is by Jack Briggs. Amazing luthier. Great guitar. So I kind of decided at that point, I wasn't a Gibson guy. I love Strats, but I knew other companies that made better Strats than Fender. I just wanted to have a real small arsenal of great guitars. Plus, I'd rather support a guy who makes guitars because he loves what he does. That's how he feeds his people. That's how he eats. Not let me get in bed because I've been with other companies where I made them money, but the relationship wasn't such that it really benefited me. They thought giving me a couple of free guitars was, yeah, we've got a great relationship. No, we don't. That's more like pimps up, hoes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't do pimps up, hoes down. So my whole kind of logic for the last 7 to 10 years has been about I seek out the small guy who makes great stuff because if I play something, which is interesting, I never thought about people looking at what I played. Because I didn't want to be that dude. I didn't want people running to Guitar Center going, I saw Jimmy playing this, let me see if I can get one. If it's not for you, it's not for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can find something that I dig, and I tell everybody what I got. You know, there's no hiding anything. I'll tell you where I got it from, who made it. I'll give you a phone number, and you can talk to somebody and see if they can make something that works for you. But there's no Wizard of Oz anything with my gear. There's no little dude standing on a milk crate behind a scrim like pulling switches. What I play is what I play. What I dig is what I dig.
Yeah,
but I love the underdog. I love the cat who's making guitars by hand or making them because this is really what he loves.
Yeah, but it is nice to have somebody walk into a store or something and say, I saw Jimmy playing this, and I really love Jimmy's style, and I love Jimmy's sound. You know, I want what he's playing. I mean, you know, that means you're influencing people. You know, that's that's a nice place to be in.
That did happen. I mean, that's how I wound up with Ernie Ball back in the day. The funny thing was, I had gotten a Gibson endorsement, and I was never a Gibson guy. There were really only 2 Gibsons I ever wanted in my entire life. I always wanted an SG, and I wanted a Flying V. But strangely enough, when I got the Gibson, the first thing they gave me was a cherry red Les Paul. Ugh. I'm also not a humbucker dude. I'm straight single coil in the neck. Gotta have a single coil in the neck. All this heavy shit starts happening, and all of a sudden I got a humbucker in the bridge because with all the high gain stuff, I'm humming like a motherfucker.
Right.
So, okay, I need a humbucker in the bridge, but when I go clean, I go straight to the neck. Or when I solo, I go straight to the neck. So it's straight single coil all the time. But I got this Les Paul, and it was just kind of like, that thing weighed a ton. it weighed a ton, and I was just like, it's a single cutaway, and oh God, it sucks. But so we're on tour, and we go to this spot in Ohio. It was a store called Jimmy D's Music Emporium, and I go in Columbus, Ohio, and I go in, and they had a silhouette, Music Man silhouette on the wall, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I'd never seen one like this. Yeah. And I said, wow, I said, what is that? And he goes, that's a silhouette. And I was like, I remember seeing, this is how funny this was, I remember seeing the ads in Guitar Player and when Keith Richards was actually advertising silhouettes, and Slash, which was even stranger for a hot minute. Really weird. And you never saw either one of those dudes playing a silhouette.
That must have been a paycheck.
You know it. So I was like, wow. So he pulls it down, and I'm like, wow, this thing, it was small. It just played like a dream. And I go, so what do you want for it? I said, you want to trade something? He goes, what do you got? And I said, I got a Les Paul. He goes, so bring it in. I was like, cool. I ran down, told my tech, give me that guitar. I'm getting rid of it. Traded them, got the silhouette, plugged it up, played that sound check, realized I didn't care for the sound of it. 2 humbuckers. Put it on the bus. It stayed on the bus for the rest of the tour. Got home. It went under the bed. It stayed under the bed for a year. When I got off of the tour, I went home and was kind of like, well, I don't even know what I have here. And I started pulling out cases, and that was one of the guitars that I pulled out, and it was a hardtail. And I was like, wow, how did I not play this thing? And I tuned it down to B.
Whoa.
That was when I started really getting into like the heavier tunings. But I still used 9s to 42s at that point.
How did that
I still do.
In B?
Yeah. So it's like spaghetti.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like what spaghetti, down there. But it was like,
I mean, honestly, thank God it was a hardtail, because if you ever hit the bar with 9s with B, Jesus.
That's what it would do.
Yeah, I couldn't even tune a guitar with a Floyd.
Yeah.
So I was like, all of a sudden, this was now the guitar that I wanted to use. So when we went back out on the tour, on the next run, I took the Silhouette. I took a Les Paul, strangely enough, that I could tune down, and I tuned everything down to B. But every time I tried to find Silhouettes, no store had them. No store had them. I was finding them in pawn shops on the road. So every time I'd come across one, I'd grab it. And I think the last one I'd actually gotten was beautiful. But I didn't even plug it up in the store. I saw it. I said, give it to me. I took it. When I got back to the gig, it turns out somebody had cut up just really made a mess of the guts. So the cool thing about the Silhouettes was that it had the pick guard came with it was attached with a Molex jack, so you could swap pick guards.
Oh, interesting.
So, we've been out now on the road for about 6 months, and I called the company because they had an 800 number. Now, my bass player had been playing Ernie Ball. He'd been playing Music Man basses forever, but nobody ever thought to reach out to the company or anything like that. I called to see if I could get a replacement pickguard for this guitar, and it turns out they were like, "You're the guy that people keep calling about."
Wow.
Because it turns out every time we would leave a town, kids were like, "Dude," they'd ask me, What are these Silhouettes?
What is that? Yeah.
And I'd tell them, but they'd go to try to find them, and they couldn't find them in any of the local stores. So people started calling the company, going, 24/7 Spyz was just hearing the guitar player had like 3 Silhouettes, and I really want one, but we can't find them. So they didn't know who we were, but they found out really quickly. So by the time I called, because I bought this thing in a pawn shop, and some Yahoo hacked up the guts, and I need a pick guard for it.
Yeah.
The coolest thing was Ernie got on the phone, and he was like, "Look," he goes, "Where you guys at?" And I told him where we were, and he goes, "What do you need?" And I told him about the pick guard. He goes, "What strings are you using?" I said, "Actually, I'm using Slinkies." He goes, "You're kidding." I said, "No." He goes, "What gauge do you need?" I told him what I needed. I said, "My bass player plays your basses, and he uses your strings." He goes, "You're kidding me." He goes, "All right, make a list of what you need. Tell me what you need, and I'll overnight something to the next town that you're going to be in." So sure enough, we get to the next city, get to the hotel, and there's this big-ass box with, 50 packs of guitar strings, 50 packs of bass strings, 2 pick guards, picks and every T-shirts, and stickers. And I was like, wow, how cool was that? So I called to say thank you, and Ernie goes, "Look, whenever this tour hits California, you got to come out to the factory." I go, "Oh, man, it would be a pleasure." So by the time we get to California, we made our way out to San Luis Obispo, went out to the factory, and Ernie was just the greatest dude, just the greatest cat. He really was. Actually, the whole team that was there at that point, because they'd all been with him for the better part of 25, 30 years.
Yeah, it's a family thing,
It was a family.
Yeah.
Was at that point, it was truly everybody was family.
Yeah.
The one person who rubbed me the wrong way was.
Wow.
It was almost like, who let the black guys in? That was really what his vibe was like.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's what it was like. It was cold fish.
Man.
There we go.
Do you know who you're talking to?
We weren't, I didn't care. He didn't have to like me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
and all the other cats I'm dealing with, we got along great. So that relationship just stuck around for a good minute. And at one point, we were talking about doing a signature model guitar because, yeah, I was probably one of the only cats playing these things.
Right.
And everybody was getting turned on. I was like, excellent. By the time Ernie got sick, the plans were still kind of midway, but as he got sicker, basically, you know, kind of eventually started to
took
take
over
things.
Yeah.
And by the time that happened, you know, all of a sudden, you know, one of the first things that was done was, we're not making this signature model. Wow, really? No skin off my nuts. You know, it didn't matter to me. Like, I wasn't the dude like, I want to see my name on your neck. No, man, I don't. No, that's not who I am. But we were going to do something because it was the thing to do. And it didn't happen. No big deal. But that relationship really went sour really quick.
That's a shame. That really is a shame.
If you surround yourself with better players and then think you're a better player because of the people you surround yourself with, no, dude, you're not. And, you know, you got great friends because you buy great friends. You know, you want everybody to think you're this magnanimous, great, you're the marvelous, magical Burger King. You're an asswipe. Figured that shit out really quickly, and I'm the wrong nigga to fuck with. I was not having it, and I mean that when I say that. I wasn't that one. I wasn't that dude. I don't take shit. I don't have to bow. I don't have to bend. Fuck you.
Mean, you know,
and you know, when I left the company, which was even funnier.
No, nobody should have to.
No.
Sorry, I had to go there.
That's okay, man.
It's all right.
But when I left the company, you know, it was like, okay, whatever. I go about my business. I move on to VJ, and we'd already had a great conversation because Bumblefoot was using VJ, still does.
Yeah. They don't have a truss rod.
No, actually, carbon fiber. They were one of the first companies to use a carbon fiber, no truss rod, but there's a piece of carbon that runs through the length of the neck for like ultimate stability.
Nice.
So I was really excited about going there to do some stuff, and we had both agreed, and they made me 2 really nice pieces. And the crazy thing was, he's also the French distributor for Music Man.
Oh.
I shouldn't even be talking about this stuff. Just edit all this shit out. This is just between us. But yeah, because it's not even a part of my world anymore. And for me to even be talking about it means that it means something, but it really doesn't. But nonetheless,
it's all good, man.
You know, it became a matter of, you know, Patrice got threatened basically to, you know, get rid of me.
Okay.
And, you know, and next thing I knew, that was the end of that relationship, you know. Like, you know, we might have to find a new distributor for our products. Wow, really? Little old me causes that?
Well,
you know, come on.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to pull back what I was going to say, but it really, it's a shame.
It was
when somebody has to think that way.
Yeah. It really is.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, and what I learned at that point was something that I had not encountered during the whole entire time of doing this, because I had great relationships with everybody I'd had relationships with. I was with Robin Guitars for a good number of years.
Robin Guitars is a great company.
Great, Dave Wentz, Key Collins, they were just great cats.
Out of Texas, right?
Yeah, out of Texas. And,
Very
you know, but the relationships, I always put much stock into the relationships I have with people, because it's one thing to like the product. It's even greater when you like the person.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's just,
you know, so my relationships have always been just as important, you know, off business hours than, you know, as on business hours. So, and that was it. But this was the first time that I saw the nasty side of this, and I'd never encountered it. And it really kind of left me reeling, because I was like, really? This is, there's no need to go there, but you went there. And there was no need to do what you did, but you did it.
Yeah,
but I was like, that's okay, because you really don't understand that I'm not like other people. Like, I'm not going to go, nobody wants to give me anything. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, really, you've like most other people have made your own way all this time. You really don't need somebody's charity,
Yeah, and that was it. So, the coolest thing about Peter Robeck when he showed up was he was really offended by what had happened with me and Music Man and then me and VJ. And he was just like, I really want to kind of like restore your humanity with regards to music, guys who make instruments and turned out to be a really wonderful dude, still is.
That's nice.
And his guitars are amazing. And that's kind of like how I've moved forward with the guitars that I have now in my own arsenal. I have relationships with all of the guys who've made these guitars that I'm playing. They're like brothers to me. Jack Briggs, Dennis Fano, Peter Robeck, John Paylor, all great dudes. And that's how I want all my relationships to be. Because it's not about, dude, if you do this for me, no, we do for each other.
That's nice, man.
No, it's a lot of few and far between are the relationships that are like that nowadays, and it's so great that you can find these, it's you can find them and they're making things that work for you, and it's just it's got to feel great, man.
And even cooler is the relationships that I had with two of the guys who had Ernie Ball for a long time. Greg Timmons, who's my main dude, he's over there running Lawler with Jason Lawler. So I'm a Lawler guy.
Nice.
And my other guy, Kurt Mangan, has his own string line, and that's what I use, Kurt Mangan strings.
Nice.
Well, the relationships remain, and that's the thing that I kind of came up with. The shit that's legit remains legit. The relationships that are real remain real.
Yeah. Right, and that's, you get like I said before, it just turns into this network thing of, I know this guy, but now he's here, and now, he introduced me to this, and then between that, I get to meet this person, and it's, if you can keep the whole thing going like that, it's really great. It's because the industry, it's a small industry, and a lot of people know what goes on, but if you can keep it, if you can keep your part of it all in the friendly side of things, it's really good because it is music, and most people involved are generally good people. They really are, and they like the same thing. They like music.
Yes.
I love like-minded people. I just love at the core of everybody. It's like good people are good people.
Right.
Yeah.
End of story. There's good days, there's bad days. You can have a bad day, and it still won't change who you are at your core. No. You just had a bad day. If it comes out sideways, you'll apologize the next day, and we keep moving forward.
Exactly. So it's all good. And speaking of the music industry, and everybody loves music. What's on the horizon, man? We're gonna wrap this, but I need to know what's in the 24/7 horizon.
Yes, sir.
We finally decided, maybe last year, in the wake of doing the Million Man Mosh shows that we've done, I kind of wanted to add a second guitar player to the band, which was funny because everybody was like, "Why?" And I said, because I hear things, and it's amazing when you make these records sometimes, and you layer all these parts. When it's time to play live, you can reduce things back down to the most basic element, and nail the song. But sometimes I'm like, I'd really like to hear that other part that floats in and out.
Sure.
Or I'd love to hear that other harmony part. And the one thing I said to my bass player was, I don't even know I wouldn't have a clue of who would be a second guitar player, or who would be another guitar player. I shouldn't say second. And he finally just kind of turns on a light bulb and he goes, "Dude, I know the perfect guitar player." I'm like, "Who?" He goes, "Ronnie Drayton."
Ronnie Drayton. I knew you were going there.
And I go, it was like I just got hit over the head with something, because I was like, "You got to be kidding me." He's that close to me, and I didn't even see it.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So I called him up, and I was like, "Dude, you want to play in this band? He's like, hell yeah. I'm like, cool. That was that. And you know,
that's awesome.
we were going through the drummer thing for a minute, and we had kind of settled on a cat. Good dude. But just recently, one of my favorite drummers, longtime friend, we all kind of sat down and talked about things, and I'm happy to say the legendary Philip Fish Fisher, once the drummer for Fishbone, is going to be playing with us. And awesome. We're talking about making this next record. And we're going to take a different approach to making it, because it's a different world. It's not like what it used to be when we used to, you know, make these records and whatnot. And even though there's a core audience of people, there's a whole new audience out there which I'm really digging, that are just getting hip to us. But I know that the attention span of a lot of people is not a great one. So I kind of thought about it from the standpoint of, instead of inundating people with a full album, because I'm not really ready to write a full album, because there's too much going on in my world that I don't have the luxury of just sitting down and, I'm going to write.
I'm going to take a year and just
why don't we drop some singles? You know, why don't we cut?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, man. I mean, it isn't much on albums anymore. It's always that single just sold 1 million copies.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and see, I don't come from that school. I come from we dropped albums.
You dropped the needle on the album, and you bought the album. You dropped the needle on the album.
Exactly.
You listened to the album.
And,
you know,
and 10 songs later.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
Not 15 or 20.
No, 10 songs later, you sat there and you got taken on a journey.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, why don't maybe we should cut singles. And if we do it like that, that'll make it, we'll all have real time to write in real time. Because the one thing I'm grateful for is that the people that dig what we do are so loyal. And I always hate when people have to wait. They go, so you said, yeah, I know. Sorry.
It's taken a little bit longer than we thought.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of came to realize that the reason why it took longer was because it was just, this was going to happen. And if I didn't know this was going to happen, everything happens for a reason. Fish coming into this band happened for a reason. You know, Ronnie coming in happened for a reason. So if that's the case, then I got to respect the songs the same way. And I won't rush to write just because.
Right when it comes.
I'm not going to pull a Guns N' Roses where you're going to wait 18 years for the next Spyz record.
Yeah, and then when it comes out, you go, "Oh, that was really worth."
Really, you waited for that? You know, it's
even better. You know, we say, why don't we just wait a couple more years and AARP can sponsor the tour?
There you go. There you go.
You know, yeah. Why not? Let's just wait a little while.
Well, you know what?
Asper Cream, AARP, what else?
Asper Cream.
Depends.
Them two.
There you
Cialis.
go.
What else?
There you go. We got it all for you, man.
We got it all, man.
The tents are over there. The tents are over there. Just that's funny.
Bomb.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody gets a rascal.
That's right. Well, Jimmy, this was.
Now you know that's a really great idea on the knees, man.
Oh yeah. Wow.
A jazzy or a rascal, whatever works best backstage.
That's it. That's a whole nother show.
Yes,
we just have to start.
Too old to rock and roll show.
Exactly. Well, Jimmy, we got to wrap this, but man, it's been so much fun.
Yeah, man,
it has been so much fun. Thank you for taking the time and. You know what? You said you're getting a new audience. I hope maybe we can get you a few more fans, man. And you know, with the new 24/7 stuff that's coming out,
and they can go out to YouTube. There's tons of videos out there with this band.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, back in the old days, and you can really hear their sound.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear the new stuff too, man.
That's what I can't wait for people to kind of hear. That's the weirdest thing. You know, there's periods. There were periods in the band because it was. You know, we'd run through drummers, we'd had different singers, and when we finally got it down to where we're happiest is what I always try to tell people, oh, yeah, you know, if you dug that, you should check this out. But then I realized it's not when people get turned on, it's that they get turned on. But just like anything else, the life of a band is a journey. So there's chapters in that book, and some chapters are missing pages, but the book is still the book, and we're still here.
Well,
and
awesome.
That's what's up.
I'm glad you're still there, and like I said, hopefully we can turn a few more people on. And I really, we'll put links up. We'll put this, whenever this goes, we'll put links up to some YouTube stuff and
right on.
We'll do the whole thing. Yeah.
And just stay in touch and let us know when we can tell our people there's some new 24/7 stuff out, man.
Yeah, man.
I will. Hopefully, we're going to drop the first single sometime early next year. Hopefully by February. But yeah, it's coming, and you'll know. I'll let you know.
Yes, and we'll let our people know, man.
Absolutely. So.
And I have one last question. I do have a question though.
Sure.
When are you going to make a high gain amp?
It's I've thought about that more and more, and I'm working on something now that it's a line that I should be able to get into some stores that have been asking. Some more features that are going to make it a little bit more player friendly, that for players that may be a little not used to the amps that I make now, that you have to just work a little bit more. But as soon as I get those out, then I think it might be time to delve into high gain territory. So, you know what? You let us know about 24/7, and I'll let you know about the high gain East.
You got a deal, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Jimmy.
All right,
excellent, man. Thank you again. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll talk again soon.
You too, both you cats, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too.
Thank you.
Peace, guys.
Peace. All right. Well, part one was fun. This part two was equally as fun. And Jimmy's a cool guy, and there's a lot of history there. And he was making some cool sound in a time that was really, I think a really good time in music. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff going on, and they were in the middle of it. And a lot of people might not know, but they were kind of right in the middle of it.
Yes, they were. And the thing I like about Jimmy more than anything is just how much of a straight shooter he is.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's going to give it to you straight, and he expects it straight.
Yeah.
And I really admire that, because too many people, and we've known a couple ourselves, come at you with this hand, open and extended, and the person you're shaking their hand, you have no clue who you're meeting. And it turns out that you give it about a half a year, and you go, there's the guy that I met, and you're total jerk. And, that I can't believe in this day and age still happens, but it does. And it's refreshing to hear a guy like him.
Yeah, yeah.
I know he's blunt, and I know it's probably going to offend some people, but you know what? I like how he delivers.
But
man.
I can tell you personally, he's a really nice guy.
You can tell that.
I really do like Jimmy.
You can tell that, and there was some things.
Like him the first time I met him.
Yeah, there's some things that happened that obviously. You can tell he was upset, and he's finally had a forum where he can kind of express himself. And hey, that's what we're here for, man.
Look, stuff happens.
It does,
and like you said, he doesn't need anybody behind him. It's nice to be working with people, but he doesn't need those people behind him. He's done it on his own from day one, and and still doing it, man. And I can't wait to hear the new stuff.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be very cool, and we'll let you know when we know.
So until next time, my friend.
I'm
Mick Marcelino. And you...
That leaves me to be Jeff Bober.
And we always are saying...
Onward.
Be sure to follow the show on Twitter @AmpsandAxes. Also, make sure you like the show on Facebook. For news, comments, and Lick of the Week with Dave Nassi, visit our website, ampsandaxescast.com. Thanks for listening.